Hello everyone, in this video we will be going to discuss about the topic inflation. So we will be going to discuss the following things. First, the introduction, example of inflation, how does inflation work, reasons for the inflation, inflation in India, what can be done to control inflation, and at the last, conclusion. So here we begin with the first slide of our topic, that is the introduction of inflation. इन्फ्लेशन इज़ द रेट ऑफ इंक्रीज इन प्राइसेस ओवर अ गिवन पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, और हिंदी में हम कह सकते हैं किसी भी वस्तु का किसी भी अंतराल में कीमत का बढ़ना. इन्फ्लेशन एम्स टू मेजर द ओवरऑल इम्पैक्ट ऑफ प्राइस चेंजेस फॉर अ डाइवर्सिफाइड सेट ऑफ प्रोडक्ट एंड सर्विसेज. Here is an example of inflation, how inflation has changed the price of a cup of coffee over time. From the example we can see that in 1970 it was $0.25. In 1990 it increased to $0.75, and finally in 2022 it came up to $1.85. Here we can see that how does inflation works. It works in three ways. The first one is demand pull, cost push and built-in. Demand pull is when the demand for goods and services exceeds the production capacity. This increases demand and lead to price rises. The second one is cost push. Cost push inflation is a result of increase in price working through the production process inputs. The third one is built-in. When the price rises of product, wages rises too in order to maintain the living cost. Here we will see the reasons for inflation. The first one is lockdowns due to COVID pandemic disrupted supply chain. Goods could not move freely, and hence the availability of many goods was reduced, and hence the prices increased. After the lockdowns are lifted, with times the prices are supposed to return to normal, but as the fuel, electricity and food prices are rising worldwide due to high demand and low supply, the inflation rate is still on the rise. The second reason is Russian invasion of Ukraine made the situation even worse because that created even more shortage of crude oil, wheat, edible oil and some other commodities. Due to Russian invasion of Ukraine, it became almost impossible to import goods from Ukraine. Moreover, the sanctions on Russia following the invasion resulted in reduced imports from Russia, which is the world's third largest or biggest producer of crude oil and the second largest producer of natural gas. We should talk about the inflation rate in our own country. The annual inflation rate in India edged down to 7.01% in June of 2022 from 7.04% in the previous month, and below market expectation of 7.03%. Here are the steps that can be taken to control inflation. The first one is to control the rising prices. The central bank should raise interest rates. When the interest rates are raised, people and companies who took loan have to pay more interest and hence will have less money to spend on things. This results in reduced demand and hence the prices will come down. This is an important step to control inflation. Sometimes government subsidizes food and other essential commodities to keep the prices affordable to common people. The third one is improving the supply of commodities to fill the supply shortage can also control inflation. At last, I would like to conclude by saying that at present, the world's biggest concern is inflation. To tackle high inflation, central banks of many countries raised interest rates. Despite the move, inflation rates may continue to be high in next few months.